Physical accommodations are fine, but when it comes to dealings, justice is the measure, not your physical ability. Assalamu alaikum. Got a question from Umar, and Umar asks, I had a question for you, brother. Actually, I wanted to get your advice, guidance on something. I find myself occasionally in situations where I feel pity for someone else's circumstances and therefore allow them to behave in a way that affects me negatively. As a simple and small example, there is a man who works at my local pizza store who frequently forgets items or else is stingy with things like toppings. I suspect his forgetfulness is really just him deliberately leaving items behind. He is the sort of person who gets upset when you use a coupon for a free item. So he deliberately tries to make up for it somewhere else in your order. With an able-bodied person, I would not hesitate to call him out. But this man has a severe limp. It seems that his leg is injured. Yeah, I would call this person out. Just, there's more to the email, but I would call that person out. Because you don't get away with things just because you have some physical limitation that should make people feel sorry for you and then you can take advantage of people in that way. That's not, I'll talk in a second. For that reason, I tend to look the other way. This is especially true when he is delivering the pizza, since he looks to be struggling a great deal just to get up and down the stairs. You know what, Umar? You accommodate for the fact that he's having difficulty going up and down the stairs. That's where you accommodate. But if he's cheating you on the order, there's no accommodation there. You better call him out. I use this only as an example. Pizza isn't a big deal after all. Well, to some people, it's a big deal. Don't mess with my pizza. But I frequently find myself in situations where I perceive a weakness or disadvantage in another person and try to accommodate them at my own expense. I am motivated, at least in part, by a feeling that I have been given so much more than this other person, and so some part of me feels like I'm supposed to give to them. I also find myself questioning whether or not what I'm doing is out of kindness, guilt, or else some subconscious desire to see myself as somehow better than this person. Since I cannot answer these questions, I thought I'd ask a question that might actually have an answer, religiously speaking. How much of my dealings with others should be influenced by my perception of their troubles? Just how accommodating am I expected or recommended to be? In short, if we're talking about physical disabilities where people are struggling, this individual is struggling to accomplish a task, and the reason they're struggling is not because they're being lazy or a lot of the times the reason individuals with physical disabilities struggle, it's because we've designed our buildings, our streets, so many structures that we have. They're designed for the most part with the thought of able-bodied individuals going in and out, which is the vast majority of the population. They're able to walk just fine, get up and down the stairs. They have the means to do it. When you have individuals that have, let's say, a congenital issue where one of their legs is deformed for whatever reason, they went through an accident even, or they lost the ability to walk, now you have a lot of struggle. And it's kind of a mark of I think it's a mark of how civilized the society is, by how accommodating it has its structures for individuals that have difficulties like that. But when it comes to this issue, Umar, personally, yeah, I'll go out of my way if I can make it easier for somebody who has some sort of disability to accommodate them. I mean, let's say that going up and down the stairs, I personally will go down the stairs. If I see this individual having a hard time, I would go down. I wouldn't even wait for them, make them struggle to come up. But let's say that they're charged with a particular task to perform. My initial expectations from somebody who doesn't have that particular disability is, you know what, you should perform it in X amount of time and you should do it in this particular way. But the second I recognize that this person, let's say like this individual, they have a limp, they're struggling to do things, I will adjust my expectations, because it's not, it's like, there's a really cool video actually, and that show, What Would You Do? You guys can look it up online. But They had at the cashier, they had a couple of situations. One was an elderly person as a cashier, and so they're taking a long time to do it. And the other one was somebody with Down syndrome bagging the groceries as you go through the checkout. If you run across that situation, not saying older people are disabled, but you have to adjust your expectations accordingly, because now you're talking about the physical task itself. But if you're going to talk about you're coming in with a coupon and you're getting cheated out of it, that has nothing to do with that person's physical abilities or lack thereof. That is just wrong. We're all equal when it comes to spiritual degrees of attainment. You know, like there's no spiritual disability in that sense. We're all equal when it comes to justice. I mean, think about it. If somebody with like this individual or somebody who's got a severe disability ends up, I don't know, committing some sort of crime, some sort of murder, and let's say that the punishment is life in jail or something like that, would you expect that the judge should treat that person differently because, oh, I feel sorry for you because you're disabled, you've done a horrible thing, but you have a limp, and so I'm going to let you kind of get away with it? It doesn't work that way. So learn to differentiate, and don't initially you will feel bad because it's a natural reaction. You will feel bad, like, because it looks to the outsider who doesn't know the specifics of the circumstances, to see someone who is able-bodied, you know, just an average individual, treating someone who has a limp or something like that, and it looks from the outside, it looks like you're being harsh to that person for whatever reason. It looks like you're, ostracizing them for whatever reason. It looks pretty bad because you're the supposedly healthy individual and you're picking on this person who's got a disability. I see this is kind of why you get that feeling. Pay no mind to that. If you get cheated out of something, I don't care. If somebody cheats me out of something like that, I personally wouldn't care that you have some sort of disability. I'm going to call you out on it. This is wrong. Fix it, or get me the manager, or I'm going to make sure that people know about this, that you're a cheating person. It's as simple as that. Has nothing to do with, and this is not about you being superior or anything. Physical accommodations are fine, but when it comes to dealings, justice is the measure, not your physical ability. Anywho, I hope that answers your question, Amar. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.